Hey everyone, welcome to the class. We're back. Good to see you all. We always like to start class with a joke, and Leah has that for us tonight.
Yes, welcome back, everybody. We took a long hiatus from the class, and hopefully somebody's actually here with us live. But um, so the joke is that well, tonight we're going to be working with the root chakra, and it's all about being grounded and feeling peaceful and being able to have good boundaries. And my joke is basically like nobody needs this meditation more than I do. So anyway, we are in good company. We'll go over different aspects of what it's like to have a balanced root chakra versus not, and if you can relate to any of that. But just know you're in good company with working it through if it's not perfect, so to speak.
Absolutely. People look at any kind of teacher, but especially spiritual teacher, meditation teacher, and think, well, this person really has it all figured out, right? And of course, we don't, I mean,
Yeah.
maybe we have a few things figured out, but um, we know we need this work, as much or even more than anyone. We're just very dedicated to it, right? That's what brings us here. So,
Yeah.
we think about like, well, what do we need, and
Yep.
we're talking it over, and it's like that sense of having a place, that sense
Mhm.
of being safe, having a seat in the world. The root chakra is at the base of your tailbone, and it is your seat in the world. It's your place. And how many of us on some
Mm.
level don't really feel like we have a place,
Yeah.
don't have a sense of belonging, or we don't feel very safe, we don't feel grounded in ourselves. So,
Yeah.
you know,
Absolutely.
and of course we deal with that too, right? So we want to work on it with you together, and see what we can get to.
Yeah, as Asatar said, we always just pick things that we need because we're quite selfish. But if you ever if you ever have a topic that you would like us to cover, please let us know. We started to kick it off with the seven chakras again. We have done this before, but there is a lot to these centers because there's a lot to being human.
Yeah.
And so we're gonna go through them again. We went from crown to root last time. We're gonna go from root back up to crown this
Oh,
time
look,
around.
look who's with us.
Oh, is there somebody? Yay!
It's nice to see
AQ.
you.
I'm so happy you're here.
Good to be
Um,
back.
yeah.
We see the heart center as the center of the energetic system, and the the master chakra that holds all of the other chakras, that holds your whole being together, body, mind, heart, soul. Heart is what we call the whole thing, right? So that
Mhm.
is our kind of general outlook, right? When we talk about these other chakras, we talk about them from the perspective of them being within the field of the heart chakra. So just to kind of make that clear, we're working on extending the heart's energy in different ways,
Yeah,
tuning, you know. So
that's beautifully said, and it's literally scientifically measurable that it is your heart chakra's energy or your heart, its energy is at least 60 times bigger than your brain, and it's bigger, it's huge, it's like around your whole
yeah,
body. Your heart's energy, it's kind of like in an atom, the nuclei is going to have the most density with the electrons floating
yeah.
around it. The center of you has the most density, the most compact energy, and that's your heart. And also, like, on the physiological level again, the heart circulates oxygen, circulates nutrients throughout your whole body, right? So it's the same thing with the energy that we bring into our heart. And so as we go through each chakra, if there's one in particular that you're like, I don't want to feel that part of my body somatically, we encourage you to feel that part of your body somatically. But if it is too much, you can stay in your heart and still do the meditation, and it will affect that part of you as well.
Right, absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. We teach and practice heart rhythm meditation. It's a method of meditation that comes out of Sufism, the Sufism of Hazrat Inayat Khan. Um, and so it has a particular kind of focus on the heart, on being in the body, on feeling the breath and the heartbeat and synchronizing these rhythms. So,
Yeah.
we hope you enjoyed if you're encountering it for the first time this evening. And,
Yeah.
we have a whole stock of these programs, right, that go back. And then we took a little bit of a break, as Leah said, but, we have our whole catalog is online here. So if you're
Yeah.
back,
And being in the body is a really big part of the root chakra. So I feel like we're actively trained to disconnect from our bodies on a regular basis, at least in the US.
yeah.
Like sitting for long hours of time, just being very head centric in general, thinking our brain is really all that there is, and we can very much disconnect from a very big part of ourself by not being embodied, by not connecting. And when we are disconnected from our root, from our deepest parts of our body, we feel or can feel disconnected from life itself.
Oh, yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
and so, yeah,
And being in a state of anxiety, being in a state of anxiety, like, there's a connection between the root chakra and, like, do you actually feel safe in the world, right? Do you,
yeah,
so many of us, our existence is not at all safe, right? It's very, very precarious. Most of us are one paycheck away from ruination, right? Or
mm,
we could get thrown out of our houses, and so we want to
yeah,
acknowledge, like, that's a real thing, right? That those
hmm,
structures around us are real.
yeah,
We don't want to give them complete power, right? Nothing has complete power over us, right? We have a very strong energies within us that we can direct. But it doesn't mean that the structures around us don't matter. They matter.
yeah.
So,
Big time, big time. And having a healthy root is all about being able to have and hold these foundational securities within our life, right?
yeah.
And so our root chakra, it could be affected in the tradition that Asatar and I studied with. We see it as the first 10 years of life. There's, it's always like a yes and. Sometimes people think it's like only a short period, but anyway, um, uh, so it could be like there could be like a fundamental things that have happened in childhood that affect you now today, but also like at any given moment, like we can be affected again, because we're living creatures. So like if something happens where you have to completely uproot your life, then your root chakra is going to be pretty messed up from that. And, like, and that's okay. Like you can fix it again, and that's why we're here. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, we go through life, we have these experiences, and it's a mix, right? I mean, they make us who we are. They give
Yeah.
us certain wounds, even trauma sometimes, right? And that is very much affects our energy body, right? That affects our centers. But it also gives us some leverage, right? Because we can work on these centers, right? We're not just what has happened to us, right? I mean, we can also heal, we can transform, we can direct
Yeah.
our energies toward becoming who we're meant to be, right? So that's a kind of,
Mm,
our view is that the future us is stronger than the past us. You know,
mm.
we're not just the passive, creation of what's happened to us. So
Yeah. Absolutely, Asatar. So before we go into the first meditation with Asatar, I just wanted to read a few things because I've been reviewing the chakra, and there's so much. Like honestly, I just want to say this. Like we could spend an entire like month on just the root and with each chakra in particular. We're not going to do that, but we could. Like there's so much information in our systems and how they
mhm.
tie in with us psychologically. So I just wanted to read a few so that you can connect with as we meditate, you can connect with what do you want to work on tonight? How do you want to heal your root or rebalance it or energize it, right? Um, and so some common things we already talked about a few of them, like the feeling disconnected from life, feeling like not feeling a tremendous amount of like a baseline of fear all the time, like
Mm,
in a heightened way.
right.
Feeling disconnected from your body in such a way where you're just like hyper vigilant only in your mind, having a really hard time like grounding. and being at home even in yourself, right? Um, Not being able to hold stability in your life. So like not being willing to participate in limitation so that you have security. If that makes sense. So like not committing to some job or some relationship where there's enough building of consistency and stability to the point where you have more security, you have a secure base.
Hmm.
So that's like a total root chakra. In or poor boundaries, not having good boundaries, right?
Hmm.
In the other direction, like if you have way too much root chakra energy, you might be hoarding, wealth, for example, or you might be trying to over control because you feel so unsafe all the time, like
Hmm.
overtly control. So you might have a great house and all of those things, but like and a stable job and things, but you can't relinquish control, and that's also a distortion.
Hmm.
Not as a judgment. When I say distortion, I'm just trying to say like the energies are off balance. They're not functioning to their fullest capacity. Um, and then yeah, I think like not feeling hope and not loving our bodies or being able to listen to our bodies within.
Hmm.
Those are all root chakra.
Absolutely. I don't know if some of those resonate with people or feel like those are pressing issues for you. If not, that's okay, right? There's something here for
Yeah,
for all of us.
yeah.
And there's so many layers to this. But let's uh, let's do a meditation, and we'll see
Okay.
what we can
All right.
experience. So
Mm.
we this style of meditation, so heart rhythm meditation. We're going to start with a good upright posture, and we want our energies to be very active, um, and yet we want our bodies to be still. So there's a beautiful kind of tension here. If we, our bodies are attuned to when we become still, and especially when we close our eyes, that we're sleeping, And meditation is not sleep, but we're taking our energy and going within in order to explore ourselves, in order to understand our energies, and in order to connect to the truth about ourselves, which is that there's only one being, and that being is each one of us, and we are the substance of creation and also the creator. That is our inner nature, that is our truth, and we find that truth by going in our heart. So connect to your breath. So you have your posture upright. Breathe in and out through your nose. The first step is to just become aware of your breathing, to feel that you are breathing, to be aware of this fundamental energetic exchange between you and the universe. And to feel it as a flow, to feel it as a dance, as a kind of partnership that you breathe out and your energy expands. You breathe in and you receive. You're giving and receiving with the breath. Now we see the breath as a very powerful tool in meditation. And it goes way beyond just being aware of it. We consider the awareness of it to be an early step along the way. But what we'd like to do is to perfect the breath. And we see that perfecting the breath has 5 different elements. We want to make the breath deep, slow, rhythmic, heart-centered, and full. And to do this is not necessarily easy. The method that I'm going to share with you is not the easiest method. There are others that are a lot easier to learn. But I share it with you because I've just found it to be incredibly powerful. I've been meditating for as long as I can remember. And I've tried many things. And this is the best thing that I've tried. And that to me makes the difficulty of it worthwhile. So the first step is to make your breath deep. And that means deep in your body. That means your belly expands as you breathe in. Your belly, just allow your belly to relax. This is called belly breathing or abdominal breathing, or sometimes diaphragmatic breathing. Breathe in and you allow your abdominal muscles to relax. And it engages the lower part of your lungs, which are rich in oxygen receptors. And as you breathe out, your belly contracts. And then you finish your exhalation and move to your inhalation. Very powerful thing about breathing deeply in your belly is it moves the energy down in your body. And as that energy is moved down, all of these wonderful things happen. It triggers your body's relaxation response, moving you out of that fight or flight response that your body has, which is the disease of modern life. We get stuck in this stressful place. Breathe in and allow your belly to expand. Breathe out and allow your belly to contract. Just like how a baby breathes. It's a very natural way of breathing. And now tune into our theme of safety and peace and having a sense of place. And what could give you that more than the safety of the breath, the feeling that your breath is a flow and you feel it down deep in your body. And next we'd like to make the breath slow. So we're adding to it now, we're keeping it deep and now making it slower, slowing down the rhythm of our breathing. So we're departing from the breath's natural pattern now. And we're doing that by squeezing the abdominal muscles as we breathe out and really contracting them more. And then relaxing them as we breathe in and just allowing that breath to be bigger and to take more time. We're still doing it in a relaxed manner. Deep, slow breathing. I think you'll find if you breathe slowly, your thoughts start to settle down. Your body's anxiety, your mind's anxieties start to release. You sit still, close your eyes, breathe deeply and breathe slowly. Stress starts to just shed off of your being. You might still have those thoughts. You might still become anxious. It might not appear to you until later. Sometimes we don't know what's happened until we open our eyes and see how different our state has become. Deep, slow breathing. Now, we also want to make the breath rhythmic because we understand the breath as an exchange with the rest of the universe, of which we are a part. The breath is giving and receiving, and life is giving and receiving. And we would like that to be balanced. We don't want to give so much that we burn out our resources. We don't want to receive so much that we miss out on all that we have to give. We want to fully develop both of those sides of ourselves. And the best way to do it that I've found is to make the breath rhythmic, meaning even on the inhalation and the exhalation, so that these two parts of the breath are the same length and the same intensity. Now, at the same time, we want to make our breath heart-centered, and we have a wonderful way of doing both, which is to count the beats of your heart as you're breathing in, and make that count the same as you're breathing out. Now, I'll be honest with you, this is not necessarily easy. If you're not able to do this right away, that's okay. Just stick with it and you will get it eventually. Some of you might be able to do it right away and others not. Whatever your experience is perfect for you. If you can feel your heartbeat and tune into it, pay attention to it. Feel the sensation and give it your attention. Give it your breath. Direct your breath to your heart and feel as though your heart is breathing. Now, if you can't feel your heart beating, you can do most of the things I just said, right? You can still feel your heart as an energy. You can imagine that your breath comes right into the center of your chest as you breathe in and expands that energy field that is centered in your chest, your heart chakra, your heart center. Expands that field, energizing your body, mind, and soul. If you cannot feel your heartbeat, you just imagine it. You just work on stay alert with your mind, focus your mind. Feel how long the inhalation is and make your exhalation the same length. It's going to require concentration, which is a good exercise for your mind. We learn how to concentrate by concentrating, by focusing our minds. When your mind is unfocused, it sometimes gets into a dark spiral where a bad thought leads to another bad thought and so on. But from the perspective of this deep, slow, rhythmic, heart-centered breath, you might have the space within you to consider that no thought is good and no thought is bad. Your thoughts just are. You're not bad for having them, even if they're what we might consider to be negative. even if you find them disturbing. You might consider that your thoughts come from, especially when we go within and turn off the outer stimuli, the outer world, by closing our eyes and being still, that the thoughts arise from the energy within our hearts. So go deeper with it, always go deeper. Whatever thought you're having, try to go to the bigger thought that is beneath that, behind that. You know, the final step of heart rhythm meditation is to make your breath full. And that requires you to really focus on your breath, really engage your abdominal muscles as you breathe all the way out, making your breath very active. And then progressively relaxing those muscles and breathing in so that your breath is much, much bigger than before. We want to feel that we're using the full capacity of our lungs. That the breathing happens in the area of our whole torso, all the way from our pelvis to our collarbones. Now, this is the basic heart rhythm meditation practice. And from here, we can tune it in many, many different ways for whatever we're working on at the time. So right now, we're working on the root chakra, so feel your root at the very base of your tailbone. Feel the seat of your being in the world and in your spirit. And connect that to the energy of your heart. You know, we have this saying, home is where the heart is. Home is where the heart is. The root chakra is very much about that feeling of being home. You breathe in and out through your heart, work on perfecting your breath. And that feeling of being at home within yourself and in this world becomes stronger. Breathe in through the root chakra, through the very base of your spine, up into your heart. Breathe out and extend your heart's energy all the way to your root. Feeling like you are a giant, powerful, deeply rooted tree. Connected to the earth and with your magnificent branches spreading in all directions. And may you develop this feeling of home within you so deeply that it becomes something you take with you everywhere. That you get that quality of being so at home in yourself, at peace with yourself. And people see that, appreciate that it helps them without you saying a word. It helps them feel that within themselves. Just like a string that is plucked of an instrument at a certain frequency will vibrate other strings, other instruments. Now take a final breath and experience that rootedness. And we'll end our meditation here.
Wow, Asatar. Good medicine.
Mhm.
Like, really, truly, thank you.
It's nice to sit with you again, Leah. We
Oh my
haven't sat together.
God.
That's right.
That was so good, though. I mean, I could listen to that every day. We have to earmark. We have to earmark this one so that I can not
Do
have
you listen
to
to our
see
show?
myself. No, God, I think
I don't
since
either. I have to admit.
I'm not that self
You're not
shameless,
that
whatever the
self-absorbed.
word, or shameless. I'm not that like seeing myself, hearing my own voice. But if you
I will.
earmark this one for me,
Okay.
then I can listen to that every day. That was so good. Thank
Thank
you.
you. I will sometimes go to the channel and then, the whatever the class for the week will start playing and I'll watch it for a little bit and I'll go, oh, there's there's teaching. Oh, this is good, or whatever, but I don't watch them. It's hard to watch your own stuff, right? That's the thing.
Yeah, I think that's normal.
Yeah.
Um, but Asatar, I really, one of the things that stood out to me so much about your meditation was like there's no there's no end to the benefit of the rhythmic breath. Like the rhythmic
Yeah.
breath in and of itself, that will ground us no matter what's happening. It's so powerful.
Great.
It's so simple.
Yeah.
And it's like the most fundamental part of us. And we can just create calm, create calm with creating rhythm in our own breathing. Um, And there is something about that, like with the earth element and the fact of like that rhythm of the earth, the rootedness, the groundedness, the root chakra. There is
Yeah.
something with that as well.
That's
I always feel like I'm trying to like yell that at the mountaintop to people about the rhythm of the breath. It's so easy to underestimate because you want the mystical information, but that is like the thing to know.
mhm.
Hmm.
Yeah. Well, I mean, our minds always make things more complicated, right? Like, because our minds love complexity and they love things to be complicated. And
Yeah,
um,
explains a lot about me, actually. You say that. Oh God, okay.
yeah, I'm just saying, I no, I've noticed that in myself too. I mean,
Yeah, no, totally. Everybody. Like it's not, I think it's really common.
yeah,
Um,
I love
but
overcomplicating things. I do that all the time.
yeah, yeah. I especially like that in relationships, but not trying, trying to break my habit. Anyway, anyway. So lots of good jokes tonight. And then the other part that was like really, really, kind of like the most base form of heart rhythm meditation, but also just so profound in its own right was connecting the heart with the root.
Mm,
In a certain way, you were doing it the whole time, or we were all doing that the whole time. But then when you actually said it, and like to just like, oh yeah. Like
Yeah.
I'm supposed to tether them together, like they're not separate things. Like even though in my head and my mind I'm like I'm one whole being,
Yeah.
to experience in the meditation that my heart is not separate from the lower parts of me, or like the root of me. No,
Yeah.
it's really beautiful.
It's been so powerful for me to get into the work of the chakras. I mean, like I said, I have been studying this stuff for a long time. I mean, as long as I can remember. But I think there's sometimes a tendency, when you see the chakras, or if you see a drawing of it or something, you see these colors or symbols, and then
Yeah,
it kind of makes you think in a way, and maybe you're not even aware that you're doing this, but you think of it as separate things, right? Or
yeah,
separate areas, right? And to feel like, to have the perspective that the heart holds all of this, right? That has helped me so much to experience these parts of myself energetically, and not to be like, oh, now I'm
yeah.
going into this, separate thing or something, right? Like,
Yeah, like again, having it all in the head, right?
yeah, totally.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, no, it's true that so for everybody joining in with us, this is one of the kind of key things is that we want you to experience these things in your body. um we want you to have the experience, and very much like in the somatic, like with your body, so that you own it, and so that we can tell you all day about all the mysteries and mysticism of these practices, but the reality is it's like unless you feel it, then you won't really believe us fully, like, or maybe you think like, oh, this is a great myth, you know.
Right.
And you're not separate, like, so in this theme with the root chakra, like, you belong to all these practices as well. um they're not exclusive to the wealthy or something like that. Like they belong to you, and so and that's what we want you to really have that feeling like they're your own, that you
Mhm.
own them.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, well said.
Mm. Shall we meditate again, or would you like to? Was it, you seemed like maybe something was brewing a bit.
Gosh, I don't know. I'm like, it's so nice to be back that I'm like, why were we on for so long? But of course,
We were busy.
you're dealing with a lot of things,
We're- we were overcomplicating things.
Perhaps we'll each share some of our story
No.
as we move forward in our teaching this rest of this year,
Yeah.
because this is our first show of 2023.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So,
What will be funny is anyway. Okay, no, let's stay on. I got to stay present
stay present, stay
with
grounded.
the root chakra. Yeah, it's really important. It's important to Azatar, you're doing such a good job with the voice and everything, like emblemating the root chakra, and I'm all like, me. Like, I'm just like, I don't know. I guess I'm just excited. Um,
Well, maybe
okay.
we're doing it together. I can be the roots and you can be the branches or something. Tree needs both
uh,
of those things, so
yeah. Jeez. Well, I'll do my best. So we'll see.
all right.
Okay, so no, so okay, well, I have something to say before we meditate. So I do want to say that the root was one of the hardest ones for me to get to. And it was like really numb for me. And like I couldn't feel like one of my first mentors was like, you don't have any feet, you know? Um
Wow. Well, see, what a
yeah.
thing to hear or to say, right? Because I mean, they mean that energetically, of course, right?
Yeah.
They
I do
don't
have
they
feet.
mean that literally, right? They mean when they tune into your energetic body, that's how it feels.
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah.
such a striking kind of way to put it, right? Um,
Hmm.
so
Yeah, and she was right, and like I remember struggling really hard to, and I would just sit there and try to breathe deep, and I remember struggling really hard to to feel my tailbone. Like I was so numb, like it was like cut off. Like I was like, nope, like, And so, and it took me years, like honestly, like it took me years just to allow that part of me. Like it would like sometimes like it got better, within months or whatever of focusing on it. That
Right.
it did get better in the sense like I could like finally feel or I could finally send energy, but it wouldn't hold,
Mhm.
and I do, and it just took a lot because our body keeps the score, and like the thing is like we store stuff somatically in our body, and I think they probably relate in with the chakras, and I mean in my experience they do,
Yeah,
and so there are certain chakras whenever we go through them that might be numb for you. Um, there's like other sensations too. Maybe they feel like they're on fire, or and that's like a totally different energy within
right.
that center. And so whatever you experience, it's okay. I'm just trying to say like it might take time and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But that is the benefit of the consistency of practice is whether you're like the ideal is like the rhythmic consistent practice. But if you're consistent in a creative way, that's okay too. In other words, like if you're consistent but it's not exactness of your consistency, don't worry about that. Like just keep practicing, you know.
Absolutely.
All right. Okay, so now let's meditate. Go ahead and come into your meditation posture. There's lots of different meditation postures out there. Um, I think the most common one that people know about is sitting cross-legged. You're more than welcome to sit cross-legged. Asatar and I sit in chairs most often. I do both, but most often I'll sit in a chair, and it's more of a pharaoh posture. And with the pharaoh posture, you can place your feet flat on the floor. And that in and of itself is already you taking a step toward a commitment to your meditation. So go ahead and take your posture, whatever it might be today. We're embracing limitation as a way to experience the vastness and the fullness of our own being. So the limitation comes with the commitment to the posture. We're literally limiting ourselves. We're limiting our movement. We're closing our eyes. Most of us are going to close our eyes. We're limiting our sensory input. And we're doing that so that we can almost explore the art of our own character, of our own being, and participate in that art form, in that artwork, and create stability within. So you've already done a lot just by showing up tonight or today. You've already done a lot just by sitting. And go ahead, if you haven't already, start to deepen your breath. And try to remember how Asatar helped us and guided us into that deep, full breath. He did such a beautiful job with it. And so let's all return back to that space that we were just in together. Deep, slow, rhythmic breathing. And then go deeper, deeper with your breath, deeper into your own body, into your own self. I know this is a big ask, but I don't want you to be afraid of yourself. I want you to know that you are your own. And that's why it's okay to check in. That's why it's okay to deep dive, to go within and listen and breathe. Maybe even imagine someone that you see as a very stable force, almost helping to energetically hold you right now, helping to support you on an energy level. Asatar and I are here, but it can be anyone, helping to hold you as you allow yourself to deeply connect with the depths of your being. Your mind's eye feels yourself somatically, so you feel the breath moving in and out, and you feel the depth of the breath. But you try to feel your breath as energy as well. In other words, as you breathe deeply, you almost allow your consciousness to reawaken within the parts of your body that you are breathing into. Deeply listening and connecting with you, with your own beautiful, unique, sacred temple, your own body. And then, just as Asatar instructed us earlier, let's connect our heart with our root. So now, as you breathe in, breathe from your root. So try to find, first of all, try to find where is your root chakra. So it's going to be the tailbone area, but also your legs and your feet. So see if you can feel that part of you. You could even spend a few breaths just breathing into your root chakra and trying to see, can you energize it? Can you feel that part of yourself? Then connecting your heart down with your root to help just reinforce again the connection of the whole self, but also to utilize the powerhouse of your own heart's energy in case there needs to be some balancing with the root. So our heart has so much energy in it that we can utilize it. And so as you exhale, exhale from your heart down to your root chakra, sending your heart's energy into your root, and then from your root back up to your heart, inhaling from your root back into your heart. And stay here, or we're going to try to stay in our root more. So this time, exhaling from your heart down into your root, and then inhaling into your root chakra again. So when I say inhaling into, it's that you're focusing on your root chakra. And as you breathe in, you are imagining that your breath is energetically filling that part of your body up. And it will feel, there will be some kind of physical sensation with that, even though the lungs is primarily where the breath goes, you'll feel that kind of response in your body. Some of you will feel it right away, and others will have to work a bit. But exhaling from your heart down to your root, and then inhaling into your root as if you're energizing that chakra with each exhale and inhale. Exhaling from your heart down to your root, and then inhaling into your root. Some of you may be able on your next exhalation to exhale all the way down your legs and out your feet. And we can begin to start to feel more of the gravity of the earth and the weight of our bones, almost allowing ourselves to get heavy and having the feeling on that exhale, if you can feel your energy move all the way out your feet, if you can feel your feet almost rooting deeper and deeper into the earth itself. And then checking in to see what's there. So exploring a bit. What is your root chakra feeling like today? Is there any information that's coming to you about discomfort or imbalance that you might be addressing? What does it feel like? What does your root, if your root had a voice, what would it say? Or what sensations are you having? And then anything that struck you during this last hour that struck you as something that you would like to dedicate your meditation to tonight, whether it's to have more boundary or not be afraid of change or to work with your own inner fear, or to be able to have stability, consistency, and success. Whatever kind of struck you tonight could have been something else entirely. I'm going to invite you, as you breathe into your root, I want to invite you to say to yourself, I can hold this. I can hold this. Maybe it's something you're really longing to attain on the physical level, like you really want it. You really want to be able to have that in your life. And again, reinforcing to yourself either out loud or silently on your breath, breathing into your root and saying it into your root chakra, thinking about that thing. And telling yourself, I can hold this. You can say it as many times as you want, or you can just breathe with whatever comes up for you as you say it. Try to stay deep in your root chakra with your full rhythmic breath. And then when you're ready, really thank your body. I'm going to let go of breathing this way. Thank your body, feel your body, thank your body for everything, all the experiences that it has held for you, and all the things it will hold you through as you become who you want to become and experience what you want to experience. Thank you.
Mm. Thank you, Leah. I really enjoyed when you said, if your root chakra had a voice, what would it sound like? What would it say? I think that's interesting, like, because sometimes we get this, right? Sometimes we do hear a voice, or sometimes we get a feeling. Sometimes it's an image, but it's like, what is the? Because it's real, It's like, what is the experience, right? So we got a nice message here from.
Oh, Doug, hi.
Good to
What
see
does
you.
it say? Read it out loud also, I
It
can't read
says, thank you. I'm glad you're both back. The meditation was so good. I'm rehabbing after surgery on my elbow, and this has brought me right back to where I need to be. Good to hear it. All right. Thank you for joining us.
We love that you're here, Doug.
Yeah. Well, it's been a wonderful evening back.
It has. It's been wonderful. Oh my gosh. And thank you everybody who has joined. We'll be back again next week with the sexual center. Last time we did the sexual center, Azotar took his shirt off at one point, which maybe we can get him to do that again.
Wow. Talk about next week's class. Wow. They're on the edges of their seats. They're saying, I'm definitely not going to.
It was hilarious. It was so funny. I didn't know what to do. Anyway. You'll have to revisit that one if you want
I
to see.
didn't I didn't hear it as you recall.
No, it was great. It was so funny. Okay, we'll see you next time, and thank you for joining.
See you next time. And if you want to support the show, go to our Patreon page. And if you're ever in Tucson, you have to take a yoga class with Leah.
Yes, please come visit me at Yoga Oasis in Tucson anytime.
All right, take care, everyone. Bye bye.